So it's been a long night. Our valiant level 3 heroes and the rest of the school has finished up their school day. It is the mandatory day off for student and staff both at the school. It's a foggy morning. It's very foggy outside. Yesterday was sort of foggy too, but it was more cloudy. But now today is like foggy. There's a faint glow outside the window of the sun trying to come through the fog, but it's a lot of fog. But the school is near the Great Lake that's through Hubshine, sort of flows up, so it's coming up and stuff like that too. We'll say you've just been up for a little while. We're going to go in with Conlon, who'd went to the library yesterday. He'd try to find as much stuff he could on warlocks as possible. He feels that maybe his father's a little biased and not so forthcoming in these with eldritch matters, and especially with warlocks. After all, like Conlon he's found his own patron, and seems to be doing okay with what he's been given. But nothing his father seems to have said has had anything to do with his situation. So what else is his father withholding? So you've gotten some books and stuff like that. So you've maybe been up an hour or so before sunrise and started researching it, or whatever. Your Faye is flipping pages in the books. Not that she's really doing anything. She's looking for pictures. She's hoping to find herself. No such luck. A lot of ugly things in these books. Yeah. So do an investigation roll, please, and let's see how well things are going.
Is it Faye Finger Undead?
No, it's okay. You can't.
I was gonna say, do they have advantage?
Now we're looking for things that matter. Now, if we get inside of it,
19.
It's a pretty good investigation. So going through. What have you been looking for? Like let's narrow down the investigation.
I think a big part of it, obviously, is just hexblade things, such as like what are their morals, and like what is the alignment of the actual hexblade patron itself. Oh, all right. Well, I'm going to tell you this. And its ideals. And stuff. In your research, there is no documentation on the hexblades. You found stuff on the Great Old Ones. Abominations, like there's nothing on the hexblade at all. So I've found other patrons. Yeah, you found a lot, but not the hexblade. Like you found a lot, including some that are like, it's like this is like these are things that are take you over. Even demons and devils and abominations. There's all this stuff, but there's the closest thing you found is there's fiends that have imbued themselves into weapons. Okay. But it's not the hexblade. Okay. So do an insight on it. Well, I suck at that. No, it's just... Roll 9. So it's just it seems unusual, but you found a ton. Like I said, there's tons of patrons. Yeah, I would definitely think that's weird if I'm finding things about other patrons, but not the hexblade. Yeah, so especially now that you know there's been at least 2 hexblades. Out of all the warlocks that are still, in the bubble, what's the most common patron for warlocks? Right now, Celestial. Okay. Like pulling some type of divine power. They're weak compared to what they used to be. Okay. But there are plenty of gods that are worshipped. Right now, there are 3 that are very popular when it comes to Celestial with healing. Surprisingly, the third most is the keeper of the Death Note. They're it's a celestial power of death, and they get power to help save off death.
Then there's the 7 without. That god, and that's Dawn's god.
Mm-hmm.
So they're very brutal compared to some of the others. It's like, even though it's celestial in nature and can heal, that's usually after they've used their god to enforce their rule.
Okay.
So they're considered the executioners of the order.
Okay.
And then another one is the peace song. There are a lot of pacifists and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
They literally, they just want to help. They want to heal. Many magical doctors end up taking that one because they don't concentrate on combat. They concentrate on what happens after.
Okay. So from what I've read and deduced, the celestial patrons are more for like helping other people in some way or another.
Yes, that's very.
And they're the top patron.
Yeah, like right
now.
Yeah.
Where does the Hexblade fit in?
Well, that's the thing. There's no documentation on the hex.
So okay, so like I don't like Celestial's the most popular, but I don't even know if like Hexblade is.
But knowing how how things are in the bubble, it does sort of make sense because you see, look, you can do aberrations. You can even have a dragon patron. There are many things that have great power. There's even a way that you can get a patron of a powerful magic user in the documentation.
Interesting.
So it's basically give of yourself. You found an excerpt of high-level retired adventurers becoming the patron of people, and in their waning years, giving the power that they earned and passing it on to the next.
Where does the Archfey fit in all this? Like, what if I delve into that a little bit?
All right, the Archfey has a vibe. They're very chaotic. It's not really talking about evil or whatever. The Archfey is very chaotic. It's very emotional. A lot of people do the emotion. Apparently, the elf warlocks really like it. Even drow and wood elves both.
Okay. Are there any names that pop out as far as patrons for the Archfey?
Most of them are not really names. It's like things, like the Fae of the Wood, the Fae of the Land, the Fae of the Underdark. It's like keeping magic alive of places more so of other stuff. Fae of the Plains.
Kind of like how there's like gods of like the sea.
Yeah. So now like people are like, oh, thanks for the magic in this realm. So I'm here.
I got you.
There's even a record of some people believing that there's a Fae of the Bubble, and that the bubble itself is become a Fae, but there's no proof to that.
Is there any known knowledge on my Fae?
She came from the wood that you're in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you wish to ask her? Because the closest it'd be like the Fae of the Wood. Possibly.
Okay. I was just curious if there was any written history on her.
Going through, other than she could fall into that Fae line, but from what you're seeing, those patrons give a lot more power than she's giving, but she did act like she was weak, right? So, yeah. And she can only do so much.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So far, none of the documentation also says that the Fae just sort of hangs out with you, or the patron just hangs out with you all the time.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is like, because no one's even seen the Hexblade, right? Before all the bubble and stuff.
Yeah, like
like in all reality, the last person to see the Hexblade was probably Cyrus.
Yes, in a way.
Okay.
It's like because we never went over how Cyrus got the Hexblade.
Right.
It's just you had it. You know, I know how you get it.
I think a big thing for him why he got it was just because of like where his family died, and he just made a pact.
Yeah.
And
this question is to make a pact with something, you got to at least talk to it or something like that, so communicate with it. But that was never passed down or talked to you.
Yeah. I've just known that the Hexblade's been in my family. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, I'm gonna think it's more than a coincidence that there's no written history on the Hexblades.
Could have been removed or not recorded on purpose.
I'm going to ask my Fae if she knows anything about the Hexblade.
She informs you that she doesn't know all magical creatures. She's going through. She says, "I don't know the Great Old One. I know a couple other Fae. But she doesn't know great fiends or great or great creatures."
I just didn't know if maybe at some point, she had a brush in with him or something.
So she tells you she's afraid that if she would ever came across something strong enough to probably do something like this, they'd probably absorb her magical power.
Okay.
She said that's a thing.
I'm also going to do some research into if it's possible to have two patrons at the same time.
None of the documents have said that there's two so far.
Okay.
Because it talks about the energies. So like you supposedly that you intertwine the two arcane cores of the beings that sort of and they share but it goes both ways. Both the patron and the benefactor of their power, they both receive something in turn, and they are bound together.
Yeah.
So, and they are diminished.
Well, I also think it would be very interesting to see how it would play out if, a chaotic patron had to be shared with, a lawful patron, I was just checking if there was any known recorded history on having two patrons. Is there any written history on what happens if you leave the patron?
It says it has to be mutual. Not like both have to be mutual. Sometimes even death doesn't even stop it, depending on how it is.
Okay. Interesting.
Hmm?
I said interesting.
So but you do find a blurb that says if your patron would somehow not be able to give you your power, you can be cut off from your patron. Your patron could cut off the power to you if you don't do stuff, but there's consequences for both the patron and the...
That's what I was going to say. I imagine, you can't just wake up one day and be like, oh, I don't want you as my patron anymore.
Mm-hmm. But if something actually happens to your patron, you could lose your powers if, like I said, if your patron isn't there to give you your power. Right. There have been gods that have been killed and absorbed by other gods, and it's not, you're not bound anymore. But there are things that have been recorded that have happened. Most of them were not very good things.
Okay. I don't really have any more questions as far as research. I feel like that would have took quite a little ways anyway to find all the answers I needed for those questions.
I'd say it's probably at least noon time if you've been staying in here for a little bit.
Alright, well, I'll go and grab lunch and then probably head to Mom's house.
Alright, so to get food on the go.
Yeah, we'll just eat along the way.
Alright, there's actually bread there today.
Sweet.
They were able to get bread. So if you want bread, you can get food.
Does anything seem off about the bread?
No, there's actually they were able to make it and keep it.
Okay.
If you ask the people giving it to you, it's been mysteriously disappearing or being bought out too fast.
Okay. All right. We'll head to Mom's house.
All right. So you can catch the train.
Okay. I'll catch the train and head back to the woods.
Yep. So yeah, it'll be about an hour by train.